Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. I'm going to be reviewing episode 2. So in episode 2, we start off with Clara getting ready to walk down the aisle to Ryan. Obviously Ryan has requested that they wear blindfolds, which, as I said last week, I think for me was a good idea because of how panicked she was and how anxious she was, and you can tell that it allowed her to sort of calm down. That way, by the time they took off the blindfolds, you could see the excitement she had when she saw him and how happy she was with him and how happy he as well was on seeing her. So I think that was a very good idea on Ryan's part because it sort of calmed down her nerves, though she was nervous up until she got to the aisle. But once she stood with him and held his hands and he sort of spoke to her, it allowed her to calm down that way. By the time she got her blindfold removed, she was able to appreciate the person standing in front of her. Which is good. There's the obvious introductions, and it's followed by the obvious introductions and sort of a brief description of the family's opinion of the bride and of the groom, and everybody seems happy. Clara seems very happy with Ryan, and Ryan seems very very happy with the person that the experts have matched him with. For me, you can tell that the family is very impressed. Clara's family and friends are very impressed by Ryan, especially after his speech. You can see, yes, his mom is crying, but you can see that the bridesmaids are very moved and they're very impressed, which is good because you want them to be on your side and to sort of be rooting for you. So it's very nice to see them get to know one another, sort of exchange their vows and their ideas of what their marriage is going to be. After exchanging the vows, they get to go and sort of get to know one another, and it's nice to see how they immediately are able to spark a conversation. Obviously, Clara said she can talk to anyone, even the wall, but it's nice to see how the conversation flows naturally. There's no awkward pauses, there's no uncomfortable feeling, and you can tell that they're enjoying talking to one another and getting to know one another. And so it will be nice to see their relationship progress as the season progresses. My only concern is obviously the experts or whoever decided to pair a couple where someone says, I've never said the word I'm in love with you before, I love you. But it's nice because he's not just saying that I've never told anyone I love you, but he's giving a rationale for why he hasn't said it. So it makes sense, and it's very insightful, and you can understand. I know it might hurt Clara's feelings to say he's never told someone he loves them. Will you be able to tell me? But the reason behind him never saying it is he just doesn't want to say it just because he wants to say it because he feels it and because he knows he means it, and not because he just wants her to be happy, but he means it. He knows what it means and he's committed to the words that he's saying, which is very good, and I think very insightful, and I really like about him and Clara and how sort of they seem to mesh right off the jump. Um, Next we move on to Eric and Virginia. We get to see them prepare to go walk down the aisle. Eric's parents are there to sort of talk to him one last time before he gets married. And Eric seems like he's in it for the right reasons. He's there to find a partner. He's there to create a bond and have a lasting relationship. And this is something that Virginia sort of says that because of their abandonment issues, that's her biggest concern. And so I think for them, they're going to be a great couple if they can just overcome some of the little hurdles that they have, things like Virginia still wanting to party and be married and him sort of being grounded. If they can sort of meet each other halfway, I think they could have a lasting relationship and they could be a very happy couple because they would be able to complement each other. We get to see, Virginia has sort of a little panic before the wedding, before walking down the aisle. But what I like is what I normally look for when these married at first sight couples walk down the aisle is the first impression. You can tell from how Eric's mom was sort of impressed by how she looks, how, people were responding to her walking down the aisle. Even the way Eric himself responded as soon as he saw her, you could tell, seeing her invoked an emotion within him. And so at times that's what I look for, things like that. And that's how I'm able to sort of say to myself, oh, I think this couple will work or this couple won't work, because I know there are always going to be problems as the couples get to know each other, but those first impressions sort of will sort of let you know, this couple is likely to work, or no, these people are not going to work. So hopefully they do work and they do stay together. I love how after they walk down the aisle and they get to talk, how Eric is sort of reassuring her, and sort of comforting her and he keeps telling her, we're going to be okay, we're going to be okay, because she seems very anxious and she's sort of very panicky. And I think it's nice for her to get that reassurance, especially with her abandonment issues, which is very good for me, in my opinion, that, he keeps telling her and sort of keeps calming her down. So far we've seen Ryan and Clara and Eric and Virginia, and for me, they really had very nice first impressions. They really had great conversation, which is something that I liked, and they seem to get along very well right off the jump, even if even with the conversation flowing, and hopefully, they have marriages that last a lifetime. But I'm very impressed with their first impressions and how they all presented themselves to one another. So this is very good. Next, we move on to Brianna and Vincent. And for me, Brianna and Vincent, I don't know, right from the first time they were introduced to us, there's something about them that's different from the other couples. So we get to see Vincent talking to his friends, expressing his concerns, what he's looking for in a partner, and what he hopes to achieve. And Brianna seems very calm and very collected, and she seems to know exactly what she wants. Her mother comes in, and oh, I love her mom. Her mom is comes across as very down to earth. She's able to sort of say things as they are about her daughter. She doesn't mince her words. She's a mother very who's willing to give constructive feedback for her daughter, which is a very positive thing. So I really like that she has that support system and that they're there to sort of help her through the process and to support her. So we get to see them prepared to walk down the aisle, to have their makeup done and walk down the aisle. So we see Vincent walk down the aisle, and I love how Brianna's mother is able to sort of help calm him down, and how reassuring she is to him when he says he's nervous, and how impressed her friends were by Vincent as soon as they saw him, because I think they know how, as Brianna's already said, she's very picky. So he walks down the aisle and he waits for his bride to come down. I love Vincent's reaction when Brianna walks down the aisle, because you can see how happy he is, at first sight, and how he's sort of his knees supposed his body movement is just, I don't know how to describe it, but he looks like his knees are about to buckle, he's about to fall forward, he's rocking himself, he's so excited, he's trying to contain his excitement, and you can see that there's that instant attraction as soon as they see each other, which is very good, because she was nervous that he might not be attracted to her, or she might not feel the same way. So it's very good that their very first impression is very good as well. I love how during the wedding vows you can actually see how moved the family are, especially Brianna's family and friends. I like how moved the family are, especially when Ryan recites his vows, how Brianna's family, some of them are moved to tears, and how emotional they become, because you can tell he's a genuine guy and he's actually means what he's saying, which is the same thing that I was saying about Ryan as well, that it's nice. It's a sort of a breath of fresh air to see these guys that actually appear to have gone on the show for the right reasons. So the three groomsmen that we've seen today, appear to have all gone in for the right reasons. They're all three of them, Ryan, Eric, and Vincent, appear committed to the process and appear committed to wanting to make their relationships work. And they seem very pleased with their matches, just like the brides as well. Appear very pleased with the matches. So I'm very hopeful that all three couples will stay together, because the experts seem to have actually matched people that have the potential of having a lasting relationship. I like how giddy Brianna and Vincent are when they're talking, and they're sort of trying to sort of tell each other about themselves and about, what they do, how they feel the experts did, and how excited they are. It's a great contrast to some of the starts of some of the marriages that we've seen on Marriage at First Sight. So it's very nice to see couples where things seem to be starting off on the right foot, and the grooms appear to be very respectful of their brides and are willing to put in the work to make their relationships work. Obviously, with times things will come up and things might change, but right off the start, it gives you great hope in the Marriage at First Sight process, and how people go into the process, and how they what they're looking for, and how they hope to find their life partner. Um, they move on. Obviously, they then show us all three couples dancing, and it's nice to see how relaxed they are with each other, and it's nice to see how the guys come across as very accommodating and very relaxed and very pleased with their matches. Again, I repeat this phrase. But it's nice to see them together, and nice to see how everything appears very organic, even if Clara is not happy with her hair and her dress, but it's at least you can see that she's happy to be with Ryan, and you can actually see them having a lasting relationship. So the first three couples, it's very impressive to see them and watch them together, and watch how they're communicating, and watch how their families are responding to the couples, and how everybody seems hopeful and is sort of egging them on and hoping that they succeed and wishing them well, which is very good, because there's no awkward moments or awkward silence. You can actually see how impressed Brianna's friends, her parents are with even a couple who appear to be Vincent's family, I think, or parents. They also seem very impressed with the pair. So it's very nice to see them all and getting along, and see them sort of getting to know one another and forming that bond to becoming a family. We then move on to the speeches. We start off with Clara's dad, who gives a very nice speech about his daughter. We have Ryan's friend, who talks about him as well. They're all very positive speeches. We then move on to Brianna and Vincent, and both Brianna's friend and Vincent's cousin give speeches, which are very heartwarming. And it's very nice how everybody's very positive and upbeat, and how they're inspiring, and they're sort of cheering the couples on. And we move on to Eric and Virginia. With Virginia, one of her bridesmaids gives a speech, and it's, having seen Virginia over a couple of episodes, you can tell she likes her drink, and they bring up the fact that she likes her drink, and hopefully Eric will be able to help her with that. And Eric's groomsman is also stands up to give a very impassioned speech about his friend. So overall, I think all six of the speeches were very heartwarming. They were very good and very reflective of the people that were getting married. So it will be nice to see the couples as they progress, now that they are married, into their marriages, and see the people that they become. Next, we move on to Chris and Paige. We get to see them prepare for their for walking down the aisle. Paige is with her friends, her bridesmaids, and they're talking about their expectations and their fears about the groom. Chris is with his friends as well. He's talking about, his pending marriage and um, his fears and his concerns. We see Paige with her dad having a chat about the wedding, and also Paige receives a gift from Chris, which everything Paige appears to reflect seems to sort of hint that it's a sign from God. She places a lot of faith on things that happen to within her life. So it's going to be interesting to watch as the season progresses how that relationship grows, and also it will be interesting to watch next week when they do eventually walk down the aisle and see what happens from there. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.